Hello everybody and welcome to my channel Watch Lookout, where, as the tagline goes, I'm always on the lookout for the next watch. And this, my friends, is the record holder of all the watches I featured on my channel. This watch is the record holder for the shortest amount of time between when I ordered it and when I received it. I think there's one exception, maybe two exceptions of watches that I've ordered in country. But this is the record holder for the watch that came from overseas, from an international seller to me through customs. 6 days. I ordered it last Friday, the first day it was available for sale, and today is Thursday. It hasn't even been, well, I guess it's been a week, but it's 6 days, my friends. And that includes having gone through customs, being opened, inspected, and of course the customs duty tax paid. So that is beyond impressive, and much to my friend Peter's chagrin, who you were introduced to in a video last weekend, he ordered the same watch from the same vendor on the same day, only a few hours difference in time, and his watch as of today, according to tracking, is still in Florida. And mine has made it all the way to Turkey, where he and I both live. What do we have? It seems like it was just 12 days ago that I opened an Aragon box just like this one, and that's because it was. A quick wristwatch check reveals that I'm wearing my Liege USA D5 Sport Diver Feel Never. And I felt it today on my wrist, principally because it's heavy and big, and I feel it a little bit where the crown digs in to the back of my hand. So yeah, I felt that. All right, so this watch, without further ado, Aragon is shipping these. I should say this watch is from Oko International, for those of you that know. Rather nondescript building there in Deerfield Beach. All right, here we go. All right, so we have a little user manual. I guess there's no warranty card, but I guess that's maybe because you register online, which reminds me, I don't know if I registered my last watch online. It has warranty instructions here. It says warranty instructions and registration, so I guess it's all in one. I should probably take the time to read that, because I don't think that I have registered the last watch that I got just a couple weeks ago. What do we have here? This is the Aragon Caprice. So this is a brand new chronograph that they are selling. It just went on sale, and it is on sale at this point at less than half the price they plan to sell it for. And they have four different versions, and I couldn't decide between champagne dial or this kind of gunmetal smoky gray dial. And I have to admit, I am partial to all things gray, silver, and the like. So that's what I got. But the champagne was very tempting. They also have a green. Wing is calling it a military green. I beg to differ. It's not exactly a pea green, military green. And then there's also a really deep blue, almost as blue as this dial, which is blue. Okay, so what do we got here? Well, we have a Swiss movement, a Swiss Ronda 8040 inside. Fairly reliable movement. I do have another Swiss Ronda movement. It is a quartz movement. And of course, as it's a chronograph and for the price, it makes sense. We're looking at a case size of 44 millimeters, so this is my smallest of the three Aragons that I have now, the smallest at 44. But it does have quite a high or tall case height of 16 millimeters. So I think that might even be more than the Dive Master Evo I got, which is a larger watch, but I think is only 15 millimeters in case height. 48 millimeter lug to lug. It does come on this silicone strap. I think this could be 20 millimeters lug distance. The website doesn't say, but what it does say is that the buckle is 20 millimeters, or what it says is clasp, and then it says buckle, and then in parentheses it says 20 millimeters. So I'm not sure what to make of that. I could measure it, but I use a tape measure, and that might look a little tacky here. What else do we have? Well, we have the chronograph function is a tenth of a second. So if I start that here, what you'll see, you see there that at about the 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock roughly, that subdial moves around at a tenth of a second. The large second is hacking, so that is tracking the seconds. That small subdial obviously tracking the tenth of a second. And our other subdials, well, we have a small seconds at 6 o'clock. So I don't have all the specs memorized because this is a new watch even for me. And then at our 9 o'clock, 9 to 10 o'clock position is our minute track counter, our minute counter. But what's really cool about this watch is we have a feature underneath the 12 o'clock, which is hard to really get good light on here. Something about the lighting. We have a retrograde day indicator. So that's what I was particularly interested in, was that retrograde day indicator. And what we see now is that the sweep second stops, I guess, after, I'm sorry, that tenth of a second register seems to stop after a period of time. And I don't think it was a full minute. So that's kind of interesting. But what I did notice, I shouldn't have done that without putting it on camera. So this sweeps around for a certain period of time. Let's sort of track that, and I'll talk about the watch. But what I noticed is that when I stopped the A pusher, this tenth of a second subdial, which did stop registering the tenth of a second, when I hit the A pusher, the hand did advance to where it would have been the tenth of a second. So it does still keep track of a tenth of a second, even if it's not, see, there we go. So at 30 seconds, I guess, it stops that little display. But when you stop it, watch what happens. You see there, it flips around to the tenth of a second. So it still registers that. All right. We do have a display case back. Wing is particularly enamored by this particular movement, the 8040, which is a serviceable quartz movement. I believe it has, 19 jewels? I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, that's a, oh wait, I guess it's a 22 millimeter width. I just see that here now. So this is 22. And that makes sense because all their watches are quite big. And up to this point, I guess there's a new watch they're releasing in less than half an hour, and that's got a 40 millimeter case size to it. So there's a very good chance that has a 20 millimeter lug width, but this is 22. This is 316 stainless steel construction. Got that nice case back here. Let me peel this off. See if we can look at it a little better. It also reminds me, maybe if I use my light we can see. No, that's probably a bad idea. Anyway, you can see there at the 12 o'clock position, there is the retrograde day indicator. And here, we see this sort of probably brass, if I'm honest, brass colored. Not a whole lot to see there. I guess you can see some of the jewels. And the glass is K1 hardened mineral. So it's been quite a while since I've had any watches added to the collection that are the K1 mineral or just mineral. I think my Luminox is that variation. So it's not sapphire. I am not crying about it. I don't plan to wear it all that much. Ergo, I don't plan to get it scratched all that much. The buckle is signed with Aragon. The crown is also fully lumed, and there does appear to be some sort of surface treatment, maybe keeping the lume in place. Aragon that I got just a couple weeks ago also does have Lume on the crown, so that's a first. And what we do have here too is the twin window date register at the 6 o'clock position. Again, that's a kind of a neat touch. Twin windows. Really hard to see for some reason. I've got the light on, I've got the camera in a nice position, but I guess it's just the dial. It's really hard to see. This is basically satin finished all over. Top of the lugs, the flanks. We do have it as a fixed bezel, obviously, but another point is inside here. We do have, man, this is terrible lighting. Let me see what I should do maybe. Is just move this all together. See here, get some light on it. We do have a tachymeter scale there, you see, on the top of the Riholt, underneath the crystal. So that is there. And it's got that stepped Riholt down to the dial itself. So that's kind of a nice touch. It is a bit more reflective than I thought for the glass. Just trying to give you guys a good look. So yeah, as much as I don't need another chronograph or watch for that matter, I really couldn't resist for the price and for the appearance of it. And I also like that each and every one of my chronographs do have a certain little idiosyncrasy about the way the chronograph functions, either what each subdial is responsible for. I have one that's 100th of a second. Now I have this one, which is 1/10 of a second. I have the megalith, which is very interesting because each dial tracks a different moment of time associated with the chronograph function and not some 24-hour plus small seconds. So that's kind of nice. They also move in opposite directions, which is kind of interesting. But not this one. This one's maybe a bit standard, except that you do get that 1/10 of a second subdial. The crown is screw down, and the pushers are not. It features 200 meters of water resistance. And I guess what we're going to do now is a Lume shot as well. And for that, we will go into my recently named, I meant to mention this in the last couple videos, my recently named Justin Hawkins closet, or Justin Hawkins vocal booth. That's what it's called. It's the Justin Hawkins vocal booth. And any of you who know who that is, you'll know why I call it that. So some people, they all have nicknames for their dark rooms where they do Lume shots. And so I'm calling this the Justin Hawkins vocal booth. Alright, so I'm charging the dial but also the crown. My technique is to use both the UV light and a regular light. Now, traditionally, Aragon is known as being a Lume monster. I would not say that with this watch, although the crown is well done. And each of the hands look well. This is rather deceptive. The camera's picking up more light. I guess the ISO, the automatic ISO setting, makes it look brighter than it is, but it is not at all that bright, I can tell you. It is quite dim, and if I'm honest, maybe a bit disappointing. The indices are small little thin rails. Normally we would expect maybe the hands to be brighter than the dial, but that's not actually true in real life. I think the hands look probably equally as bright as the dial indices do in this shot, but it's not true. The hands are noticeably less bright. And no matter what the camera is lying to you, this is quite dim. It's not that impressive. I guess it's supposed to be a C3 Superluminova, but it is not super. Although, like I said, that crown is nice, but I think that's just because of the concentration of lume and the volume of lume that they applied there to the crown. Nonetheless, it's there, such as it is. So I will thank you for coming out and joining me. This was supposed to be a double unboxing. Peter and I were going to unbox these together. And of course, I'm too impatient to wait for that. And his is still in Florida after all. So, another Aragon in the collection. Cheers, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you again as I'm continuing my State of the Collection collection of videos. So it's like season 2, so to speak, of that. And, you know, Aragon watches will be part of that batch now. I have 3 of them, so I'll probably profile all 3 of them at the same time. All right. Cheers.